So Joanne, as the chair of the ACEC Leadership and Education Committee, I have some questions for you. I'm hearing from a lot of firms that they have very talented young engineers who really want to advance. And these companies want to empower these young engineers. How can we, as more senior engineers and as a community, help them out?
So the one thing about the leadership education courses is that they're designed to help people at every level expand their understanding of what it takes to be successful in the engineering profession. And so for these young engineers, these new engineers who are just entering the field and they have just 3 to 5 years of experience, they're more concerned with honing their skills and with learning how to be a good team member and being technically competent. It never dawns on them that the firm that they're with is a business. It never dawns on them that there is a business side. They just have a good job with a good firm. And it's like, hello, you know, you are in a place that has to go and grow. So the Genesis course is designed to help them see the big picture, to understand that there is business development, how you get work, and to understand there's a business side and that you have to be able to communicate in a team. So we help them get their foot in the non-technical door of engineering. Ed, you've probably sent people from your firm to Genesis. What has happened?
We send all of our designers and engineers to the Genesis program, and it's after years of studying math, science, codes, and standards, it's fun to see them come back from Genesis learning that engineering is actually a business, not only a business, but a people business. And it teaches them, like you said, how we win work, how we stay in business, and it also teaches them that the most important thing of a project success or relationship success is communication. Whenever a project goes south, but you're always second guessing, did I tell them the right scope? Did I tell them the right task? Did I tell them the budget? Did I tell them when it was due? So those are the 3 big takeaways from Genesis.
That sounds like a great program. Also sounds like a great start to help engineers understand there's more to the math and the science.
I'm glad you said that.
Because there really is. And so now I've got a follow-on question.
Okay.
So you've given them this introduction. You've whetted their appetite. How about helping them advance that further? Really going into not so much project management, but a little bit more client management, budget management, people management, that aspect of the engineering work. You know, as they're moving forward and they're getting into, 5, 7 years, maybe even further along in their career.
So it's really interesting that you say that because, there are 2 paths to get ahead. One is the technical path and one is the management path. And so in the technical path, you are not thinking about growing the firm. You're thinking about delivering the highest quality gold standard of your technical competence. The management path has people sort of with their eyes on the prize. I want to get ahead. I want to be a firm leader. And both of these paths can encourage people into the leadership roles because you can be a leader at any job level. But there are certain distinct skills that you need to have in order to really help your firm go and grow. So they include things like understanding legislation, advocacy, and funding, understanding how decision-making is done from a leadership perspective rather than as a manager, and understanding financial planning, financial solidness, that's a good word, and the importance of strategic planning. The key for emerging leaders is to see how they can use different non-technical skills to move along in their career and to move their firm along. I know Ed graduated from Emerging Leaders, and you are like the poster boy. So tell us about your experience and why it was vital for your firm to have you develop those skills.
So I went through the Emerging Leaders program 15 years ago, and there's so much information on working with people, with contracts, writing proposals, and but the main takeaways I got were one of them was that if you're passionate about what you do, you'll be successful, and that should be a standard throughout. One of the other things was that when technical professionals develop those soft skills, they bring more value to the project, bring more value to the clients, bring more value to the company. And one other thing, you learn appreciation for all the work, the business development, the accounting and finance, the risk management and insurance, everything that allows you to do what you love to do. But one of the biggest things that I always talk about is when they call us an ambassador. Engineers, technical professionals need to be an ambassador for their industry. Whether you're in transportation or flood protection or water, wastewater systems,
Bridges.
Or bridges. You know the condition of the assets that the community or the Commonwealth has. And you need to be able to communicate the condition of that to your employer, to the clients, to people at large, to people, to even elected officials. And emerging leaders gives you that confidence to say, hey, this is important. We need to be paying attention to our infrastructure that's aging.
So it gives you confidence and skills. I mean, there are specific skills attached to each one of these things because some people have it naturally and some people have to learn it. And right before our very eyes, in the time you've been on the Leadership Education Committee, you have gone from management into leadership. And all because you took that course. Isn't that right?
That's right. I always think of Joanne's last session where she talks about the leaders standing on the balcony, looking out to the future, and leading the team how we're going to get to that point where we want to be.
That sounds great.
Oh, good. You're a good advocate.
No, it's a tremendous program. We sent a number of our staff through there as well. There's another program that I went through. It's called the Odyssey Program, also through the ACEC, a Leadership and Education Committee. And this was a great program where, as a leader, I learned a little bit more on the people side. Learned a lot about myself. That was the first thing they made us do, was understand what motivates us. So then we can help to understand what motivates other people. Because everyone wants to do a good job, but everyone thinks a different way represents a good job. So we need to understand what that is. And the Odyssey program really helps you become a better mentor and a leader, and to really help your staff and your colleagues be motivated in what they're doing and to excel and achieve their goals. It was a great program.
Surprise, land surveying and engineering is a people business. And Odyssey explains why that is so important and helps you create a greater awareness of what makes you tick and what makes other people tick, so that you get, if you'll pardon the vernacular, you get fewer communication gaps. And so anyway, the objective of Odyssey is to create self-awareness and emotional intelligence, to use another common term, so that you are better able to lead your projects, lead your team, lead your firm. However, there is no such thing as a free lunch, is there? These things do cost, and Ed has a secret for how you can pay for it.
So every company that employs a Massachusetts employee pays unemployment insurance. And a portion of that insurance goes to a workforce training fund. And that fund is designed to, the purpose of that fund is to allow companies in Massachusetts to be competitive and to be effective with their work by training their existing and future employees. So the Odyssey and Emerging Leaders are both approved programs for this fund. So firms can send their people and apply for, if your firm has under 100 people, you can apply for 100% reimbursement for the Emerging Leaders program, and which works out to be about 50%. There is a max that works out to be about 40 to 50% of the Odyssey program. And if your firm has over 100 people employed in Massachusetts, you can apply for 50% reimbursement. So there's really no excuse not to train.
Well, training is important because you are protecting your greatest asset, your people. And while that is a cliche, in this case, it's really true, and it's the benefits to the firms are gigantic. But then, of course, I already mentioned that I saw you go from management into leadership right before the Leadership Education Committee's very eyes, and so did Matt. go from management into leadership just this spring. And so tell us about what you think can be of value to you with the courses that we have.
Well, the value to me personally would be to have a venue where we can talk about some of the issues that are affecting all of our companies. There are a lot of topics these days, from environmental justice, social justice, diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as all the design changes. And we need to be able to look at it as an industry, and to be able to share those ideas would be great. And I understand there is a program called Everest, and I'm really looking forward to signing up for that this October so that we can attend it in the fall.
Well, you qualify now. Both of you do in a leadership thing. And Everest is for the top people in the firms. It's a forum. It's not a course. It's a forum where you come together to address these issues and see what your peers think. It is a colleague idea exchange. And sometimes they're your competitors, sometimes they're your best buddies, sometimes they're your teammates. But the main thing is that the issues are the same from firm to firm, and Everest gives you a chance to do that. So we'll look forward to seeing both of you at Everest this fall or this spring.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I do have to make sure I get online, do my registration. I want to back us up. We've advanced all the way now up to upper management within the firm. But I've got another question for you. This one's, a little embarrassing. Engineers have a reputation of not having the best relationship with the English language. Is there anything that we offer that can help out? I'm not even going to say junior engineers. I'm going to say engineers as a whole in that regard.
Well, as a matter of fact, anybody who happens to write needs to have good writing skills, and we just happen to have two courses. One is effective writing for anybody who writes, and the other is When Words Matter for anybody who writes. So if you write letters and client reports and documents and proposals and emails, anything where you have to be clear and articulate and also have good punctuation, and be able to translate heavy technical information into readable, understandable language. This is an opportunity, taking a course in effective writing or When Words Matter, because, as you said, it may not be your strong suit, but it is an absolutely critical skill, especially if you need to move ahead in your profession.
And that's the other thing they don't tell engineers, is that you write a lot, whether it's reports or scope of work or proposals, from letters to memos to emails. And I don't want to read bad writing. Our clients don't want to read bad writing, and it can actually get us into trouble. So, which brings us back to Genesis, where every exciting project starts with a well-written proposal.
So what I'm hearing then is what I can give as feedback to some of these companies I'm talking to is, if they really want to see value out of all of their engineers, they need to invest in those engineers. They need to help to train them, give them the tools so that they can then give back to the companies. And that'll allow them, the engineers, to then advance within the companies as their companies grow. So there's a nice give and take there, I think, where we provide the opportunities, the engineers come in and take advantage of those opportunities, and then they grow, and they help their companies in the long run.
And that is perfect.